Hello, my name is Raymond Garchevsky, and I am a living Christ. What does that mean? I'm a simple man of truth, of oneness, of non-duality. I live in the balance of my subconscious mind and my conscious, satanically ruled intellect, as do we all. Now, we're here to, spiritually, that is, here to learn who we are, what our purpose is, to understand the nature of life itself. Not the definition of life, but the energy of truth, of love, of God. I'm using words that you understand, words that you have been conditioned to hear, to define, to believe in. And I've tried to explain that through words, and I have failed. I've been at this now for about 25 years. I'm no closer to linking with you today than I was when I begun. Now, what's wrong with that picture? Last night I had a dream. It answered my question. It answered what was going on in my life and my relationships. I'm 82 years old. In terms of earth, I'm an old man. I've lived my life. I've had my experiences. I've done what each and every one of you have done. However, my energy has been different than most of you. The dream that I had revealed that I am like the fictional character in the movie They Live, whereas he wore glasses to see through the images of people. I have no need for glasses. I see through the images, the deceptions, the masks, the lies, the contradictions in essence. It's just sin. Now I know that I scare the hell out of most of you. And the dream that I had revealed to me why that is. I'm different from all of you. Well, not completely different. I possess an energy that I'm still working with because I'm living here with you in this civilized hell that is based in words, based in definitions, based in dead images. You see, that's a fictional world. It's not fictional to begin with. At the subconscious level, life is energy, unbounded, indefinite, undefined energy. And as it travels through consciousness, it is filtered through by the conscious intellect, which is dualistic, that is, it is divided, separative, opposing, violent. And that describes the kind of world that we project as we see through the filter of the satanically ruled conscious intellect. So we create our world accordingly to the quality of our consciousness. The dream that I had last night opened it all up to me. I have sought love, oneness, cooperation, undivided attention all my life. But being born into this dualistic world of satanically constructed hell, hell's images, I'm dealing with fictions. So how does non-dualistic energy address dualistic fictions? With great care. Keep in mind that each and every one of you live in this dualistic society, worldwide society, ruled by satanic leaders who call themselves the New World Order, who are seeking to consolidate their power over all living men and women by creating a fictional worldwide thought pattern that only they control. Now, control only exists in a dualistic consciousness. That's the nature of life on Earth. The killing, the opposing, the arguing, the crime, the self-mutilation, destruction, suicides, homicides. You understand? It's all based in after-moment constructed, indoctrinated thought because you're confused. You haven't been able to make up your mind. You don't know what love is. Love is the oneness of being that exists when all barriers are removed. I still am an old man, 82. On the outside, inside I am immortal. Now, that's not some extreme view. I'm sure it is to you. Because you, those of you that I'm talking to, unless you understand yourself, and yourself is myself, for we are one in a non-dualistic consciousness. But you're stuck. You're stuck with your conditioning, your indoctrination. And you keep trying to adhere to that, not knowing that that's what's keeping you separated. That's what makes for hell on earth. Are you striving? All of you are striving because you truly are just confused. That's all. The worst criminal, the murderer, the suicide victim, they're just confused in their thinking. They're acting at the extreme level of frustration because they are living in a land, in a world, in a consciousness of duality, of struggle, of pain, suffering, hell. Now, as I say, I am a simple man of truth, the Christ, who lives in the balance of non-dualistic subconscious mind and the dualistic conscious intellect. I have sought love all my life. I have had this consciousness since the age of 5, but I had to get along in a world of rules, regulations, fictitious laws. And that was my test. That was my temptation. And I'm still dealing with it to this very day. Even though I call myself a Christ, each and every one of you hear that word, and with your tendency to worship words and ideas and myths and legends, you conclude that I am crazy. I'm a Looney Tune. Well, that's the nature of what one is exposed to when one lives in truth. You see, I have been walking on eggs most of my life, trying to express the energy of love. And I'm walking on eggs, trying not to hurt feelings. And that is what kept me in line in my spiritual trek of self-understanding. Instead of being free to express the truth. But that truth hurt feelings. That truth is not politically correct. And politically correct language is satanic. It's political. It is the reason for war. Personal war and national war. Understand? This dream that I had last night, everything was crystal clear, perfect. However, I was still dealing with expressing it to a woman, who was frightened by my honesty. Beautiful woman. And I saw within her the energy of love. I've been searching for love. I found it with my first wife, whom I shared a marriage with for 49 years before she passed away. And she passed away because of the stress that was put on her by our political society, by the state of Oregon, the county of Josephine, who declared war on this living man because he was living in truth and would not bow down, would not conform, would not veer from the threats, intimidation that was exercised and still does not. That battle is still going on, and it will go on until it no longer exists, and our society will have then changed from the dualistic hell that it is into the second coming of Christ consciousness. This is not a brag, although that is what most of you see it as. When you become aware of what that really means, the oneness, living in truth, Jesus of Nazareth said it, I am the truth, the life, and the way. You understand the simplicity of that? Yet that has been made into wondrous godlike proportions. That is the basis for a religion, which is a mind-controlling operation, much like government is. Now you understand what I mean by boycotting government. You see, it is nothing but a fiction created by people like you and me. However, we must use language in order to communicate, and that language becomes the barrier between truth and the idea of truth. Now, it has been prophesied that in Revelation, well, I'm not quite sure what part of the fictional book of the Bible contains it, that there will come a time when everything will fall apart and Christ consciousness shall take over the earth. And what is that Christ consciousness? It's love, it's cooperation, it's non-duality, no division, no opposition, no confrontations, no riots, no harming of others. Understand? Now, I live the way of truth, the way of non-harm. That is called the rule of God. However, words cannot portray the true meaning. That can only be resonated with, seen, observed for what it is. You see, when you conform to a word, you are living in a fictional world that is created by somebody else, the maker of the rule, the maker of the law. And those are powerful Satanists who thrive over enslaving men by their indoctrinated thoughts that continue in them from birth to death. Begins in school. Well, it actually begins with your parents because they are indoctrinated, and all they are teaching you is their indoctrination, not understanding that. And they send you to school, and you are further maligned, attacked, intimidated, pressured to a fictitious understanding. Oh, you learn something of the technical world, the dead world, the fictional world of invention, where all of the advantages of a modern technical world are taught you, and the mechanism which brings that about. But what you don't see is that its divided nature brings with it death, destruction, pollution. It's inseparable. You see or feel or believe that you are acting intelligently, for your satanic schooling tells you that. It gives you grades. But what it's doing is tearing you apart, pushing you into a divided world where you must believe. And that belief does not coincide with anyone who doesn't share your opinion. That's the natural world of civilized hell. I've been exposing it all my life, and I've been hurting feelings. It's not my intention to hurt feelings. It's just a natural outcome of being in this world, but not of it. You see, the world that you live in, you is the world of Bass Ackward. Everything is the very opposite of truth. Oh, you do have your ideas of truth, but they're not truth at all. They're just fictional accretions that justify, that allow you to argue. An argument is a sign of duality. Long as you live in duality, you are living in hell. The protests that are going on are satanic. They envelop the consciousness of millions of people who are dissatisfied with their life, but don't know what to do about it. You understand? Since I have been searching for truth, living truth, searching because I'm living in a world that throws barriers into one's consciousness and causes problems. And I understand that, and I stick with those problems until I resolve them, I dissolve them. Then I'm back to living in love again, living in truth, living in the Christ state of consciousness. However, I have not known love by anyone else except for my wife, one woman, in a lifetime of 82 years where I experienced love. And then, partially in my conscious mind, I had my doubts, as do we all. And it is only after her passing that I understood clearly the message of my marriage. I knew that I had a loving wife, and I continue to look for that love. This dream that I had last night answered those questions. I look for beauty, not outward beauty, but inward beauty, balance, love. And I seek that in my life, even now at 82. Well, I'm not talking about outer beauty because I'm no longer young. However, inner beauty never changes. And one can sense that beauty regardless of one's outward appearance. And that is the kind of love that shall emerge on this world of the second coming of Christ consciousness. That is what I am trying to bring about in my dialogue with you. However, for the past 25 years, I have failed, and I'm still working at it. "82 years. Inwardly, it's a drop in the bucket. That's where I live. I'm truly not bound by the outward concepts of life. And neither are any of you, unless you doubt that, and you believe yourself to grow old, decrepit, mean-spirited because you've been deprived of a life of love. and that makes you ugly. Your appearance, your outer appearance, is merely a reflection of the inner spirit. That's your report card. But life itself is never ending. And this life that you're living is merely a blip in time, with birth to death. You are well beyond that. That's just a mere look at consciousness, which is beyond words, beyond definitions. That's what heaven is. That's what spiritual affirmation is, beyond time, beyond space, beyond dualistic hatred, confusion, aggression. That's the world that you all live in. But you all also have the opportunity to become one, to find love. I'm looking for a woman who's beautiful. Age doesn't, well, age does matter. I'm too old for young, beautiful women. And I'm quite open to an old, beautiful woman. That's the nature of this Christ. The rest will come. For truth is the basis of all realities. The basis. The realities that you, the common man, possess and entertain are indoctrinated into you. They're satanic. You don't know that, but the results of your actions indicate that if you are split and opposing, and either argue with others in your relationship, or you argue with yourself in your own confusion, you're in hell. You see. But keep in mind that this living Christ is nothing more than the character in They Live. Only he doesn't need glasses to see the inner spirit of people beyond the masks they wear. Thank you.